Griet will now have a conversation with Bart Brouwers. He is a professor at the Rijksuniversiteit Groningen and also owner of E52. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It works. It works.
Ja, werkt die? Horen jullie mij? Ja, oké.
Alles werkt. Yeah. We will continue in English, won't we?
Yes.
Because we want to reach everybody here. It's very special to have to hurry, well, like crazy, to get to slow journalism. That was something
That's
awkward. Kate, it was a pleasure to have a couple of days to enjoy your KONT magazine, or should I say book? Because it's quite something that you made.
It is, yes, but because it's slow, we prefer to make it something.
It is really something. What struck me and what came to mind almost all day today is, can we call each other colleagues right now? You made a book, you made a magazine, you're a journalist, or you're an editor at least.
Yes, that's the like for me funny thing about KONT. Of course, I am an artist, so I can be anything, and I have a background also as an editor. But for this thing, what grew on me as an artist the past years is to play also with communication with audiences and to use this kind of mass product as a form for communicating the things that I think are important at this moment. Makes me look like a chief editor.
But you are.
Which I am also, but which is also like, for me, sometimes it feels like I'm playing some kind of game with language.
We all do.
So I think we should call each other colleagues then.
I think so. But you just said a mass product. It's meant for the masses, or it's meant for a happy few? Do you have somebody in mind you wanted to make this for?
Yes, well, that is maybe different from other media. Of course, as an artist, I use more some kind of inner urgency to work, not some kind of idea that I need to bring news to this kind of audience. So I start from a different point. But
well, is it a mass product, or is it for somebody special?
A mass product it's not a mass product because we make 2,500, not 200,000. But we do have ambition with this thing, and of course it's also like some kind of researching thing. The shape is the shape of a mass product, or because I use the word magazine, I can enter a lot of places easily. Because people know what a magazine is. And to ask for advertisements is also easier than to ask for funding. Which is always like...
But you did both.
I did both, because it's impossible to print something like this with little money, of course. But I hope that we can grow a little bit into independence.
And hope, some, well, really a journalism professor, colleague of mine always says, hope is not very much of a business model. So how are you planning to get there? What?
Yes. Well, my business model is that I want to make 5 kontjes. And
so that makes 10.
I don't want to get rich with it. And the most important thing is that it happens for me. Because I do think that as an artist I have a responsibility to be critical and to question what is already there. So I wouldn't say this is journalism, but I am very, for me, what makers do that nobody knows, but that are very involved in their work, means that they are also involved in the time and the place where they live. And it is not an indirect way of talking about our context, I think, and also
not an indirect way, or
an indirect way,
okay,
maybe.
yeah.
Well, because we are not used to think of this kind of stuff as news or.
No, it's not news, but you certainly are well. You could say critical about well, maybe trends or something, and we had a little chat a couple of days ago, and then at some point you said, well, I was pretty tired of the world of art as we are living in here, and you said more or less you fled to another country, to the Ukraine, I think. Is this an escape as well? Is this the next escape of Griet?
You can call it an escape. To me, it feels like it's totally my freedom. It's
okay.
where I feel totally at home and comfortable, and I think maybe I'm turning 40 this year, and it feels like the past and the future are at this point coming together. So I have this expertise, and I know what I can manage, and making books for me is very nice because you have a concentrated place where you can be very independent if you, as much as you can try to be independent. So that is why I like to work with this. And also the past years I have been more and more trying to find different methods to talk with the audience. So not only by putting stuff in museums, but because it's for me insufficient actually, it doesn't feel relevant. And I want more discussion or...
But how much is this your voice? Because I was informed while cycling and running by train to this place by one of your colleagues that Floor, one of the, I don't know where she is.
She just left.
Oh, she just left, sorry. But she had a lot of freedom, and that's why and how she managed to do it. So,
yes,
can it still be your voice or your...
It's not, no, of course, and I don't fear that it's not my voice at all. I think, well, what my voice is that I want to show what these people do, because I believe they are totally, honestly involved in their context.
Yeah. Okay.
And...
but are you an editor? Did you edit some of the stuff?
I think I'm more a curator in this thing, or a coordinator maybe.
Or an enabler?
Yes, yes. I'm like a platform. Yes, but I do, of course, coordinate all the people that do things. I help with selections and with the texts, and we have very intense conversations about where things were going.
How much does this involve your present life? Well, I mean, let's say that you have a 40-hour working week. How many of these 40 hours, if it were 40 hours, would go to KONT during the last year?
Good question.
50 of the 40.
Yes, something like that. Well, yes, I try to combine it with my other artist practice still, and but that will be the challenge the coming years, I think. What I notice now is that people are interested in the concept and what I'm doing, and they are interested in asking me to give workshops or to do different kinds of things, but they are...
The people that have been contributing to KONT, or...
The advertisers, or other people or institutions.
So it is a business model.
It is, of course, it's my business card.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it is because it is my ideology.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very important that we connect cross disciplines and generations at this point, as makers also, to be autonomous still and to survive this time.
Yeah. Well, it's a great way to express that feeling. Now that the first KONT is here, you were running through it one more time and one more time, and then suddenly some things occur to you that, well, we should have done that differently. What are the main lessons for number 2, if you look at it? What can we expect differently in number 2?
Yes. What I noticed when I started to get everyone's works, initially, like in April that was, I started to think what is the connection between all these works, and I thought that maybe the first issue is reflecting the personal stuff a lot. It's a lot of stories are quite intimate.
It's true. Yeah.
Yes, and I think maybe it's also because I start with this thing and it feels very close to me. And I also invited initially people that I already knew as a start, but then it grew, and I met also new makers that I invited. So I think for next year, because so many names are now sent to me, that there will be a different influence. There will be more distance, maybe, and I feel challenged with this. But there will be a totally different graphic designer.
Okay.
There will be 30 different makers, so everything will be different.
But again, 30 will be the number of
yes, I like that. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 less or more, but that's the idea. And
but again, they have total freedom to do as they wish.
No, well, this total freedom is relative, because I do talk with everyone.
It's like society.
No, Floor said she had total freedom, but it's not true at all. But I talked to her about what do you do? Like with all the makers, I went to their places and asked, what are you working on? What is something that you are thinking about at this moment? And is there something that you actually want to do something with, but you don't really know what? So I start from what is their interest.
Yeah.
And that's why it feels quite logical for a lot of them. That's what I also think is important, because it's their information that they give. So it's not, that's where I start, and so next year that will be 30 different stories.
Yeah, but still, when you look at the stories, then many of the stories have the word I or me, or they're telling something about the person who's telling the story. Is that something that will remain there?
I can imagine it might change. Okay. Because I think also this one is maybe also like, hello, here I am.
Yeah.
But I can imagine it will be different, yes.
It'll be, challenging again, of course.
Very, yes.
To reinvent the magazine every year.
Yeah. Yes, I just said that you were not there, so I
don't repeat that.
No.
People already heard it.
Yeah.
We have to be entertaining here, so yeah. Let's see. What I would like to know, maybe you said that already also, but is maybe the floor case. How does it work? Or you can take another example. So after the first contact and after the first, maybe phone calls, do you visit them and go to their place to talk about it? Or
I will start with Paul and Yolanda and Jerome, how that went.
Yeah.
Like Jerome was one of the artists that I had seen so many times his work, but I thought, why do so little people know what this guy is doing? It's so aesthetically, it's so nice. And so I went to see him and we talked about what he was working on, and he said, like, when I present my photographs, I try to make a moment where people can be still. And then we talked about how we could do that. And I said, maybe you need an architect to think about the space where you would present this work. And so I started to make these links, and when we talked about his work, Yolanda, the poet, came to my mind, because she's also writing a lot about landscape, and she lives also out of the city. And
but this was only in the second phase of the project.
Well,
not immediately you combined the two.
No, I talked to Jerome, and then during this talk, these other people came to my mind. Yeah. And then I invited these other two, and the 3 of them met at my place. And they were enthusiasts. And so they went for several walks on the Heide, the Strabrechtse Heide, and they made a collaboration. So this, just the fact that they went there for 4 or 5 times, I don't know, and they enjoyed simply talking and walking there, this means so much to me. Yeah.
Great. Do you pay anything to the people who write for you?
Yes, I try.
Because they give a lot of time to you?
Immensely, yes. Yeah. And I don't pay like a lot of money, but I really give everybody some money, and it's very important also for me that I can do that. Yes, but I notice also that the artists, they like also the fact that they are challenged and that they know they will be in the magazine. Wherever we start, we know they will be in the magazine. Nobody dropped out, and also to be linked, of course. It's nice to meet an architect as a poet. Or
Cool to get an impression. I have one last question because we are ordered to end the conversation. Sorry. Why did you choose to have the presentation here at the High Tech Campus?
So KONT is all about what you don't usually see. So all the people I worked with, I think nobody had ever been here.
Oh, wow.
And or maybe they had passed through it or something, but I thought it would be very nice to do it here. And also because I want KONT to be taken very seriously. I wanted to put it in a place where it takes really place in the world. And not only in our safe cultural haven, but out of that. And I like to connect, of course.
And connection, can it lead to maybe high tech in KONT number 2?
Maybe. It's hard.
Maybe not.
Well, I talked actually to city marketing about this.
Okay.
And yes.
Another business model.
Exactly. And there I was told I should be careful that I wouldn't be too arty-farty.
Okay.
I didn't like that comment at all, but and I felt there was this tendency to force me a little bit into technology. I think I don't want to force things, so I organically go where I feel interested. And we tried this year, actually, I tried to combine Floor with a VR artist, but it was hard. So I think it will happen somehow. I also, you from TU is here, so I try to make these connections and find people that understand this experimental context.
Yeah, of course, there is already a natural connection between design and technology.
Designers are there, yes.
So design is here, so
yeah.
So only a small step.
It is. But we are also innovating in our own way.
Thank you, Griet, and very good to be here, and very good to have the first KONT on the table, the first KONT on the table. And we are already looking forward to number 2. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much.